You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. We welcome you back inside the 7 Mile Casino studios here of Kaplan and Crew, along with Grande and the Brown Man. We got a lot to get to here this afternoon. We got a shorter period of time because, as you know, on Fridays, it's Football Friday on 1090, which means at 5 o'clock, it is the LA Football Network. Our man Ryan Dyrud, he talks about the Rams, the Chargers, USC, UCLA, and the number one college football team of Los Angeles, the San Diego State Aztecs. So Ryan and his crew are coming up at 5, and then at 6 o'clock tonight, Scott Gilbranson. Here's a San Diego native who covers the Raiders, and it's the only Raiders-centric radio show in all of Southern California sports radio. Silver and Black tonight with Scott Gilbranson and his team coming up at 6 o'clock. So we got a lot of football coming your way, and we're going to talk a lot of football on the way. But I do want to start off this afternoon talking about what happened last night with the Dodgers, because here's the thing. You probably figured, I know I was thinking this, well, the Dodgers have essentially run out of starting pitching. You know, Scherzer's talking about his arm is dead. Buehler clearly wasn't himself a couple nights ago when he couldn't even get into the fourth inning. And the same goes for Urias, who gave up a bunch of home runs, and the Dodgers wound up losing that game. You had to think that the Dodgers were probably going to get finished off last night. And then even early in the game, Joe Kelly, who started the game because they're going to go with a bullpen, which, by the way, that was my whole point about Urias from a few games ago. Your bullpen has been crushing. Why would you take a starting pitcher and put him in the bullpen and then use him late in the game? But neither here nor there at this stage of the game. But Joe Kelly comes out after like 20 some odd pitches with a bicep problem, and now he's gone for the remainder of the playoffs. So no Kershaw, no Muncy, no Turner, now no Kelly. Guys are getting hurt left and right. But then all of a sudden, an opportunity presents itself for a guy to become a postseason hero, an all-time legend. We thought that Cody Bellinger's home run a couple nights ago, which is the one that tied the game, we thought that was going to be the seminal moment of these playoffs if the Dodgers were to come back and win. Chris Taylor hit 3 home runs in this game. And what's so amazing about it to me is if you're A.J. Pollock, who hit 2 home runs in the game, you're like, hey, over here, couple home runs over here. I mean, this guy, if I was at this game, okay, I would have taken my hat and I'd have thrown it on the field. That's a hat trick of home runs. Grande, take us through the Chris Taylor, A.J. Pollock night against the Braves last night.
Yeah, combined 7 for 10, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, and 6 runs scored. So I called him the other guys because Taylor's had some very clutch hits throughout his career. A.J. Pollock's been a solid player, but I think everyone's expecting it to be Mookie, Taylor. What's his face? Why am I drawing a blank? Trey Turner, excuse me. Like everyone's expecting those guys to perform, but it was those guys last night. And I'm officially done trying to figure out what's going to happen on this series. Officially. I have no idea what's going to happen in the series, but I will make a Charles Barkley guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers win game 6, they win game 7 as well. So the Braves have to close it out game 6. Have to.
I think that the series goes 7 now, right? I mean, I just feel like you're the Dodgers. You caught lightning 2 nights ago. Then you get smoked, okay, even though you thought you had all the momentum. Then when everybody thinks you're dead and done, you come up with this sort of performance. And I thought that was great the way you just put it on that slide. 2 guys, 7 for 10, 5 home runs combined. That's incredible. And I like that you call them the other guys because they're not considered the stars of the team.
Right.
It really does go to show you,
because
we've talked a lot.
Day. You know, it wasn't the day that Scherzer, Urias, or Buehler pitched. It was Joe Kelly who got hurt in the first inning. You're like, here we go again. Like,
yeah,
the Braves got 2 runs in the first inning. This is over, and it just none of this makes any sense.
It really does go to show you, though, that, and we've talked a lot about how do the Padres compare to the Dodgers? Because the Dodgers are the team over the last 10 years that everybody in the NL West has been chasing. This is the difference between the Dodgers and the Padres. When it's not Justin Turner or Max Muncy or Mookie Betts or Cody Bellinger or Corey Seager or Trey Turner, there's a Chris Taylor and an A.J. Pollock who come up huge, and your bullpen comes up huge. That's the difference in the roster between the Padres and the Dodgers. Just when you think the Dodgers are dead because guys are hurt, guys are missing time, guys aren't performing, et cetera, they got so many guys that have an opportunity and can, in the moment, come up huge. And that's what happened last night. Browner, I don't know, man. Were you watching basketball last night? Were you watching any of this Cleveland Browns Denver Broncos game? Did you watch this Dodgers Braves game? What'd you have on last night?
I was watching the football game first, and then I tuned into this game. When it was 2-0, I turned over to see what was happening, and I saw Joe Kelly on the bench looking sad. And I was like, oh, no, that can't be good. This is about to be bad. And I turned back over, and it was pretty much over and run away with. So we talked about this yesterday, but the truth is, I don't think there's any momentum in this series. I think this series is literally a game-to-game series because we were saying yesterday, what if Dylan, whoever their pitcher is, whoever the Braves pitcher is, if he comes out and he's great because he's their best pitcher, this game's going to be over.
You're talking about Max Fried. You're talking about last night, Max Fried.
Yeah, and they crushed him. They crushed him. He gave up 5 runs. So what now? Like, I don't think there's any momentum. I think this is a game-to-game situation, and I think that favors the Dodgers because they have better players. As little as you've gotten from Freddie Freeman, who's supposed to be their star, their other stars out.
Freddie Freeman's made a huge comeback in this series. I mean, the first 2 games, he was I think it was 7 strikeouts, but he has made a huge comeback. As a matter of fact, it was Freddie Freeman who got it all started last night for Atlanta. He hit a monster home run. And you're thinking to yourself at that point, wow, you see Freddie Freeman started off so cold. Now he's heated up. This is why the Braves have the advantage.
And look what happened.
Yeah, look what happened last
night.
So
I think there's zero momentum in this. I don't think going back to Atlanta changes anything because if you remember, the Braves won 2 games in the bottom of the 9th inning on individual hits. So what's to say the Dodgers can't then go there and get 2 straight blowouts? You don't know.
I think the Dodgers, and it's hard to actually believe this because of all the injuries that we've been talking about. They can look back, even though the Braves roster is different than a year ago and the Dodgers roster is certainly different than a year ago. They can, both are really, but they can look back and they can say, we were down 3-1 to these guys last year.
Right.
And look, there's a lot of things that were different. You know, players were different, where they were playing, who they were playing in front of. There were a lot of differences a year ago. But if you're a Dodger player, in your mind, you're like, we were here. We've been here and we've done this. And I think the stat I heard last night was the Dodgers have won their last 7 elimination games where they're on the verge of being eliminated. They have won. That's pretty remarkable. Now, can they keep it up? I would suspect that on Saturday afternoon or evening, depending on what happens with the ALCS and what time the NLCS game goes on Saturday, I would think the Dodgers go to Atlanta, win game 6, and then how fun is that, though, just as a sports fan? 1 game play-in against St. Louis, 5 games gets to game 5 against the Giants, and now game 6 and potentially game 7 against Atlanta.
But if we come back here, talking about how Bellinger and Mookie Betts carried them in 2 straight games in Atlanta, would you be shocked? No.
Not at all.
No.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Braves close it out on Saturday.
Exactly.
Like, that's what I was saying. Like, I wouldn't be like, the series makes no sense.
None.
Like, whatsoever. Makes no sense whatsoever.
There's no momentum. There's no overarching. The only overarching thing is you don't know what's going to happen next. And I think that's been the best part of this series.
All right. Don't mind me, by the way. Anybody who's watching the show, TV, YouTube, don't mind me. My phone is going off, and here's what's happening. I'm dealing with now the asbestos guy who's trying to get a hold of me. Because Alex, look at that face. I know, dude. The word asbestos makes it sound like I'm about to have lung cancer. I know, exactly.
Yeah. Sounds like you're about to be an infomercial at 3 a.m.
Dude, all I know is this, is that we're talking about this baseball game. We're talking about this baseball game, you know? And I wanted so much to focus on all the different sports stuff that's been going on. And can you imagine, like, in the middle of all of this, you know, real life strikes. And I've told the story. I had this leak underneath my house. Psh, water was flying out. And this thing was going on for I don't know how long, you know? But man, it took a couple of real men to put on these like white hazmat suits and climb through this crawl hole, take flashlights and pictures and show what's going on down there. And these are real men, okay? Not like me, okay? Not wussies like me. I'm talking real men crawling underneath the house, finding what's going on. And now this guy's trying to reach me right now because he's going to come do an asbestos inspection here at my house. I'm telling you, dude, by next week, today's Friday. I don't know what's by Monday, Tuesday. I was telling the insurance adjuster today, I'm like, if I can be in this house until Friday of next week, I'll be shocked. Because I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm putting my kids. I don't know where I'm going to broadcast from. I mean, I literally, this
You
is
don't
what
have
is
you don't have
going
a
on in the middle of all this.
you don't have a plan yet?
Dude, I'm trying. I am trying to come up with a plan. But between insurance person and the mold person and the asbestos person and the displacement relocation person, and you
You
know
sound like
what
a
it is?
refugee.
Well, dude, here's the thing. In San Diego, this is a real problem for people. Um, Finding rental properties, especially short-term rental properties, which is
Oh,
what
good
I'm going to
luck.
need. It's incredibly hard. Supply is insanely low, and the fact is the prices are out of control. Now, I'm
And for what you
insured.
need, for what the
Right.
space that you need, you're not
Right.
gonna. It's gonna be super hard for you. I'm not gonna say not because you know more people than I do. Finding a short term rental for what you need is gonna be very difficult.
Well, I was on the phone this morning with this woman who's from the insurance company, and I think she's in Atlanta or someplace. And I'm like, listen, lady, I got to let you know right from the beginning, don't get sticker shock, okay? Because I
No.
need a 5-bedroom house
Mm.
in this area, Solana Beach, Cardiff, Del Mar, Carmel Valley. I need a 5-bedroom house. When you see what it costs to rent a furnished 5-bedroom house for a short-term rental, I know you guys are an insurance company and I've been paying this insurance policy for a long time, and you're in a different part of the country, you're going to be blown away by the costs.
You better put
So
your
yeah,
dukes up, brother. You got a fight on your hands.
I know I do. So anyway, it's funny because my phone is going off in the middle of the show, and it's the asbestos guy who's trying to reach me, and I'm like, well, you picked the wrong time of the day, pal. Wait for a commercial break, and I'll get back to you. All right, we are in the 7 Mile Casino Studios along with Grande and the Brown Man, and I do want to remind everybody, hey fellas, look, um, what's today's date? Today is October
21st,
21st,
second,
21st,
second.
22nd. Okay, Halloween is next Sunday. And that means that the end of the month is October 31st. So you have really next week, Monday through Friday, to make an appointment at iThrive MD, 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497. Why do I have to make the appointment in October? Here's why. Because under normal circumstances, when you get onto testosterone treatments at iThrive MD, it's $289 a month. And I actually, when Dr. Samir Damani told me it was $289 a month, I thought, wow, it's kind of pricey. But then my daughter, who's 17 or 19 years old, went to a place called the Stretch Lab. You guys ever heard of a Stretch Lab?
Not until your
yesterday.
daughter.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. They've got, you think about like different sort of exercise places. Orange Theory has their own deal. F45 has their own thing. Row
Peloton.
House has their own thing. No, I'm talking about like places you go where it's not just a gym with weights. It's like an actual exercise class. And there's lots of different ones. Well, this Stretch Lab place, my daughter comes home. She goes, Dad, 4 50-minute stretching sessions, $399. And I went, that's insane. But then it occurred to me, $400 for 4 stretching sessions. iThrive MD is $289 for the month of testosterone treatments. And I thought, wow, now $289 doesn't sound like that much money, because if your brain is all foggy, if you're feeling depressed, if you're tired and sluggish and your body is changing because you're getting flabby and your muscles aren't looking as toned as they once were, if you have erectile dysfunction, or if you're just not able to get excited in the bedroom, you probably have low testosterone. Now, if that's the case and you get your testosterone levels right at iThrive MD, well, $289 doesn't sound like a lot because your whole life is better. You're not as foggy in the brain. You are able to create excitement in the bedroom, et cetera, et cetera. So $289 is nothing compared to $400 for stretching. But Dr. Samir Damani and all these medical professionals at iThrive MD, they want you to be healthy. They want you to live a long life. They want you to be energized. And they're willing to do this for $145 a month for the first 3 months. They're cutting their price in half. Go to ithrivemd.com/Kaplan, ithrivemd.com/Kaplan, or make an appointment, 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497. Make the appointment in the month of October. Your first 3 months are 50% off, $145 a month to feel phenomenal. So look, guys, take care of it now. I'll give you the number one more time. I'll do it slow for those of you that are driving. You got to remember it, 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497. Make an appointment in October, your first 3 months, half price. And let me tell you something. You're going to feel 1,000 times better than if you spent $400 getting your hamstring stretched. You understand what I'm saying? I think you do. ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. Okay, so Browner, you were saying you were watching the football game last night.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from baseball and this incredible performance by Chris Taylor and A.J. Pollock and the Dodgers staying alive and taking the series back to Atlanta. And I was flipping back and forth also with football. And what an impressive performance, I got to say, by the Cleveland Browns to be missing your starting quarterback, to be missing your two best running backs, to have a third string running back put up over 100 yards rushing, to have Case Keenum throw for 3 touchdowns. I was really impressed with the Browns last night. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Denver's any good.
Right.
Okay? I mean, Denver was 3-0, and they'd beaten 3 teams that were combined 0 for 9, and they've lost 4 straight games now. So I don't think Denver's any good. But I think when you're a team like Cleveland and you've got that many injuries and a short week, and your quarterback's not available to you, that to me is a really good win. You were watching that game. What'd you think?
I thought first and foremost about that game, the Browns' offensive line may have made Baker Mayfield expendable last night. Because, again, we talked about this yesterday. Case Keenum isn't amazing. He's not better than Baker Mayfield, but he's a good, serviceable starting quarterback in the NFL. And that's all that they needed. With that defense and that offensive line, you get these running backs going, and all Case has to do is make a couple passes because they were loading up in the box. And Stefanski was calling great plays last night, especially on that last drive, just getting guys in the right place at the right time other than Odell being washed. I thought all around the Browns really showed well last night, and they made me a believer in why I thought they were going to win that game to begin with. I didn't think the injuries phased them because they didn't have any injuries on defense. They didn't have any injuries on their offensive line. And at this point, it looks like anybody can be a good running back if you got a good offensive line. And the quarterback, I already told you what I felt about Case Keenum. So,
yeah, you're down on Baker, huh? You could just
yes,
not a big fan.
Yes,
and yesterday, I think he revealed. I don't know who he's revealed it to, but he said he has a fractured bone in his shoulder too. He may be out for a while. He may be out for a while.
He says he's targeting, and I think it was October 31st. I think the Browns are playing the Steelers. I want to make sure I get my date right, but I had read him saying, "Look, I've got this small fracture here in my shoulder. I've got a torn labrum. It's in my non-throwing shoulder." So I don't know if you guys remember the game against Arizona last week where J.J. Watt lands on him and his shoulder's out like this, and he comes out of the game for a little while. But yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield, that sounds like a major injury, doesn't it?
Sounds like the Cleveland's got a Tatis problem over there, man. That's a messed up shoulder, dude. And he's playing through it. He said, "I'm planning on playing through it." I don't know how, but it's his non-throwing arm. That's the only way I think that he can do it. So yeah, they play the Steelers on Sunday. They don't have a bye week until week 13. So
wait, are you sure that they play the Steelers? It's not this Sunday, it's the following Sunday, right? So it's Sunday the 31st, yes?
Right. Yeah. They don't play this Sunday. They just
No,
play
right.
yesterday.
When you say they don't have a bye, I thought that they had. Well, they do. They have some time after this Thursday night game. When's their bye, Cleveland?
Week 13.
What's the rush though? What's the rush to rushing back?
Because they were playing Denver.
Okay, but if you can be competitive,
yeah,
and again, if your defense can eke out a couple scores, help you get a couple wins, they're going to be able to run the ball against anybody they play against. So I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, if Baker's going to be at his best, we need him 100% healthy. We don't need him out here throwing on a quarter of a shoulder.
I like the we. Now it's Cleveland Brown, not L.A. Brown. Cleveland Brown.
Oh, the Browns, Cleveland Brown, John Brown. I like it.
Yeah,
makes more sense.
I was speaking from a point of view if I'm a Cleveland fan.
Okay, understood. I didn't know if you were a big fan now. I didn't know.
I think long term the Browns are in trouble.
I hate everything Cleveland.
What a weird What a weird schedule they have. Week
Browns?
12 at the Ravens. Week
Mhm.
13 bye. Week 14 versus the Ravens.
Oh, wow.
That's weird.
That's weird. That is weird.
That's
Yeah.
a scheduling error.
You know, you say that the Browns have a Tatis problem, which brings me back to yesterday, our interview with Mark Loretta. It was interesting how you put that out on social media, where Loretta was talking about Bochy and how he'd be disappointed at this time if the Padres don't go out and get Bruce Bochy as their manager. And I saw a lot of people opining on that on Twitter or on Instagram where you posted it. And some people even saying, why is Mark Loretta not being considered for the managerial job? And I think the main reason Loretta's not being considered is, one, I don't think the Padres organizationally want another first-time manager. And two, I'm not really sure that the Padres look at Loretta as another Jace Tingler, Andy Green, do whatever you're told by AJ Preller kind of a guy. And so
But you
I
can't have another one of those. That's the
no,
problem.
and I think that's why a guy like Loretta is not really under consideration. All right, we'll talk more about this.
I can play that clip.
Okay, I want to play that clip. I also want to get back to the Dodgers and the Braves last night. I want to hear some of the post-game interviews, and I also want to get to the NFL Week 7 this Sunday. Stick around, everybody. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios here on Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
And they're on. Welcome back. Please join us in welcoming the Race and Sports Radio Show back home to 1090. Join host Felix Taverna every Saturday at 9 a.m. for the very best horse racing coverage in all of Southern California. The all-new and mightier 1090.
SDCCU is an engaged community partner. Each year, SDCCU is proud to support many nonprofit organizations throughout Southern California. Our partnerships allow us to help shape the financial lives of many through volunteerism, financial support, and creating public awareness. The result is a big impact on the communities we serve. SDCCU, it's not big bank banking, it's better. Federally insured by NCUA. Find out more at sdccu.com.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Are you or someone you love living with dementia? Get free support from the experts at Alzheimer's San Diego. Visit alzsd.org or call 858-492-4400.
Great googly moogly.
Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Up to 30% of COVID-19 patients become long haulers with persistent symptoms months after the infection.
What I've been finding with my patients is that it's taking up to 3 to 6 months for them to recover their endurance, exercise capacity, and get them back to work or to their usual activities of daily living.
What I wasn't able to do was the basic needs, like brush your teeth, take a shower, because of the shortness of breath, the tightness in my chest.
The symptoms that concern me the most, the shortness of breath. So restrictive. You know, you go through and you just take for granted that, you know, you're gonna breathe. And when that gets taken away, it's a scary thought. Unfortunately, I'm 6 months out now from my diagnosis and I'm still suffering from several of the symptoms.
My experience with the patients I've sent to La Mesa Rehab has been extremely positive. The patients come back with good reports, and when I see them in the office, their exercise capacity has improved dramatically.
I'm getting there because of La Mesa Rehab.
Teatro means theater in Spanish, and in Portuguese, and in Tagalog, and in Italian, and in so many languages. We have a lot of communities, a lot of culture here, so that is the reason why teatro is in the name. The mission of Teatro San Diego is to provide arts education to underserved communities, specifically in schools. Our goal is also in tandem with arts education to provide a professional theater company and dance company so that the community can see themselves reflected on stage at the professional level. Places like Subaru have really been so supportive and have helped us come up with projects like the AMI project.
I was so honored to be at an event a few days ago and heard some of the songs from it. These guys rock. This is just an amazing thing that everyone needs to see.
Southern California Radio is a special game, a unique game from the sandy beaches of the Baja and all the way to Santa Barbara. My voice sounds pretty cool. The all-new and mightier 1090.
My name is John Alicio, and I'm managing partner of Procopio. Procopio is the largest San Diego-based law firm, and we're proud to be a part of this event, the Salute to Teachers. Without the teachers, none of us would have had the success we've had. You know, our firm consists of about 200 professionals and 200 attorneys. So a total of 400 mostly San Diego educated professionals. Without you, we'd not be winning the cases we win as we go toe to toe with the best attorneys in the world. So thank you on behalf of Procopio for what you do and how you do it. And a special personal thanks to my alma mater, Valhalla High School, and the teachers at that school. Without you, I would not have had the personal success I have had. So from Procopio, thank you for what you do and how you do it. Salute.
It was a night to remember as we honored the best teachers in San Diego. There was dancing. There was music. There were teachers. There was also this bit of genius.
This honor is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Watch Cox presents Salute to Teachers only on Your View.
Kaplan and Crew tonight presents Let's Talk Hookup.
Hi, this is Pete Gray with this week's Fish Report, and some pretty slow fishing here in Southern California with some bluefin tuna and some yellowfin tuna down about 150 miles. But the big news this week in fishing is the Bisbee Black and Blue Marlin Tournament down in Cabo San Lucas. 199 boats competing for a whopping $9.8 million. And day one of the tournament, Team Braniff caught a 489-pound blue marlin worth $600,000. Day two, the fishing was very slow. No qualifying fish brought to the scales. And day three is today, and one team could win $9 million if they catch a qualifying fish and they're in across the board. So we'll have all the information on that Bisbee Black and Blue Marlin Tournament this weekend and a lot more on Let's Talk Hookup. So be sure to tune in on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Mightier 1090, and we'll see you next week.
Let's Talk Hookup airs on Mightier 1090 Saturday and Sundays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams-Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats.
He's at the 40. Is he going to go?
Stockos holds it in. What a catch.
Big return left sideline. Off to the races.
He splits the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Pass it out. Wildcats. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Stadium in San Diego. It has been a sellout the last few days. Loyal SC ready to kick off this season. Stadium in San Diego. Professional soccer has finally arrived.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the Mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 and Your View. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more, just off I-8 in El Cajon.
All right, great friends. It is a Friday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew, broadcasting and blasting on the airwaves of the mightier 1090, all 50,000 watts. You can also find us on our YouTube channel. That is where the heart and soul listeners and viewers of the show are. They're all involved in the YouTube chat, passing things on, getting involved in a whole bunch of conversations as the show goes. And when I say passing on, I'm tell your friends, share the YouTube link. For those of you that get our text messages, we should actually do that, Alex. We should tell everybody how to get our text messages, because I think we kind of started off by texting people every day a link to the show. So if you're part of our group, part of our subscribers on text, every day you get a text message and says, hey, here's a link to the show. But we haven't really been giving it out very much. And so therefore we haven't really been growing our text message group. So we'll give you a number and you can text us, and then you can be part of our squad and you'll get the text messages every day. And I just thought of this like off the top of my head that we should start really trying to build out this whole list. Do you have the way that people can text us? And then we can.
I don't have a graphic for it, but just text great friends to 1-844-870-5444.
One more time.
844-870-5444. Text great friends to that, and I'll add you to the list.
There you go. All right. Well, if you're a great friend, you should be on our text list. Text!
Our text guy is leaving that company, so we got to figure something out.
Oh, no. Where's he going?
Not to a text company.
Oh, you bet. Oh, no. That's terrible. That's horrible.
Yeah.
All right. We may need a new text company. So if you've got a text company and you want to work with the show, text us. All right, we are in the 7 Mile Casino studios, and Browner today finds himself broadcasting from our friends over at Torrey Holistics. That's very cool. You look really, that is not a background, everybody. That is not a fake background, Browner.
That's real business back there, man. That's real business. That's high elevation back there.
I thought you were back at Hot Sauces and More.
I know, right?
Mm-mm.
He's going back there soon.
I do need to get back there too, though.
He's going back there soon. I actually was talking to Brian about it yesterday, and we'll start. I actually love this idea. Where will Browner be on Fridays? And then we can put Browner in different places and work with our sponsors and maybe put him in some places where people can come hang out with him. I love that idea. Way to go, Brown. Way to lead, man. Way to go.
Shout out.
All right, so if you're just getting with us, we were talking about a lot of stuff. We were talking about the NLCS. We were talking about Thursday Night Football. We were talking about the Padres and their managerial search. We were kind of into a lot of different stuff. So, Alex, if you could play for everybody, yesterday, Mark Loretta was here. Now, you guys know I love Mark Loretta. Mark was a great player for the Padres. He actually became a front office executive with the Padres, a special assistant to the general manager. He was scouting and going around to all the different minor league places. Then he left the Padres to go be the bench coach for Joe Madden and the Chicago Cubs, meaning I'm going to put the uniform back on. Managing is potentially in my future. Let me go work with a great manager and a great organization. And now Mark Loretta is kind of in what I would call semi-retirement, waiting for the right opportunity in baseball to pop up. So yesterday, Mark was here talking about the NLCS, and we started asking him about the Padres managerial search. Here's what Mark Loretta said on the show yesterday that has created some buzz on social media. Go ahead and play this, Alex.
They're going to go after somebody who does have managerial experience and winning managerial experience. It'll be interesting now because I know at least, I don't know how you guys feel, but I'll be disappointed if it's not Boch at this point.
Yeah.
After it's been built up. And that's going to be interesting. Has that painted the organization into a corner a little bit? I do think Boch is interested. I know Boch pretty well, and I think he's ready to come back. Particularly when he sees Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa and these guys who are 10 years his senior, who are still going at it and doing a great job. But I do think that Boch will have to have certain assurances to come in and take this job. And that is, please give me all the information, with the analytics and everything else, but also, let me run the club.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good piece of commentary by Mark Loretta. Not necessarily something we couldn't figure out on our own, but I thought it was a solid piece of commentary. Like, look, he's a winning manager who has tons of ties to the San Diego Padres franchise, both as a player and as a manager. And if he were to come back, Bruce Bochy, and become the manager of the Padres, remember, this is not Bruce Bochy, who was the manager of the Padres way back when. This is now Bruce Bochy, the guy who's got 3 World Series rings, as the manager of the San Francisco Giants. So there's a whole different level of cachet that comes along with Bruce Bochy today than if it was Bruce Bochy, who was, just back then the Padres guy. He's no longer the Padres guy. He's a Hall of Fame manager because of what he accomplished with the San Francisco Giants franchise. But I'm with Mark. I think that you look around if you're Bruce Bochy and you say, well, wait a second. Tony La Russa, how old is he? In his 80s? Definitely late 70s, right? And you see some of these older guys that are managing, and he thinks, well, I can come back and do that. But again, you can't ask a guy like Bruce Bochy, with his experience and his resume and his track record of success, you cannot ask an old school manager to come back and take management out of his hands. I thought Mark's point was, hey, look, give me the information. Tell me what the analytics say. I will use that, but I'm going to have to trust this. I'm going to have to trust my gut.
I think the one thing we can all agree on is they cannot have another guy like the 2 previous guys. I think that's the one thing that every person monitoring this managerial hire, if they see that, everyone's going to freak out if it's another guy like the previous 2 guys, and then Preller's going to be in a lot of trouble. So I think you're going to have to go with a guy like Bochy. Now, it may not be Bochy, because if everybody is saying something, I don't think they can really do that. But I think it's going to be a guy like that, a guy who's already won, a guy who has his own cachet, and a guy who you're going to have to let kind of do his own thing.
How about a guy who the fan base knows, likes, respects, believes in, wants?
Like if Dave Roberts gets fired by the Dodgers, right? Let's say the Dodgers lose Game 6, and all the fans who don't really like him anyway, and for whatever reason, people bite at that in the front office and go, let's get rid of Dave Roberts. I mean, I really feel like that's just a come on home, bro.
If Dave
Listen,
Roberts
dude, I don't think
Dave Roberts were fired, let me ask you guys both a quick question. Alex, I know you're getting ready to ramp up. Let me ask you guys a quick question. If Dave Roberts were to get fired after Game 6, let's say the Dodgers lose and they decide to fire Dave Roberts, which I don't think will happen.
I don't either.
But let's just say it did. And I told you have the choice between Bruce Bochy and Dave Roberts right now. Who would you rather have?
Bochy.
Oh, Dave Roberts for me.
Yeah,
Dave Roberts
for me too.
He's active. Yeah. He knows the division. He knows the players. He knows, and he would be fired up to beat the Dodgers after them dismissing him after all he's done for them.
You're not going to like this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Dave Roberts is a version of what we just had here. And
totally agreed.
I think he is getting told what to do.
100%. 1,000%. Dave Roberts is a successful Jace Tingler. Dave Roberts is a successful Andy Green.
Yeah.
And if Dave Roberts would have stayed with the Padres, and if the Padres would have done to him what they did to these other 2 managers, in all likelihood, the results would be no different.
And I do think that Dave would have had some more success just because I think he actually knows how to handle personalities. I think that's his strength. I think he himself is such a personable person, and he's been through it all as a player. He's won championships. I think the difference is who he is as opposed to who Jace Tingler was. I don't think Dave is afraid of confrontation. How about that? Like we saw him push Andy Green in a confrontation. Like I think Dave his personality is much different than those 2, but as far as managing styles, he's being told what to do right now.
Okay, I agree. He is being told what to do.
Let's say that's true. Let's say that's true. Then the job basically comes down to how do you manage people, right?
That is the job, and for the Padres organization, that is the job. Whether you like it or not,
unless they hire a different kind of manager.
Well, they're not.
See, but that's what Loretta was saying.
Right.
That's the question.
Right.
Loretta was saying that if you want Bruce Bochy, then he's going to need assurances,
of course,
that you will provide me with the information, but you will let me manage the ball club.
Which is what I was going to say before we got into the Dave thing was I'm not hung up on I need an experienced manager. I need an experienced person. Like if they hire someone that I have to Google, problem number one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had to Google Andy Green. I've had to Google Jay Stingler and legitimately read up on what they are. And I think that I am not expecting them to get someone like Bochy because I don't think they are going to bring anybody. But I'm not necessarily expecting them to bring in some like veteran manager either. I could see them just hiring someone that has experience not managing but in the game. Like I wouldn't be opposed to hire a first time manager as long as this guy I'm trying to figure out how to
Well, here I'll give you an
say it,
example. Why
yeah.
can't let me give you an example.
How about
Why
this? Like
can't
Will Venable.
Okay, so
He's
no,
been
that's
all
fine.
over. Like
That's fine.
he's been all over. He's been
Yeah.
managing.
Yeah.
He's been not managing. He's been coaching all over
Yeah.
MLB. He's an
Mhm.
experienced player. You know, didn't have a lot of success as a player, but well known in San Diego. Could I see them bringing someone like that? 100%.
One of those
Yeah,
retired Molina catchers.
Will Venable was a much, much, much better Major League Baseball player than Andy Green or Jace Tingler combined.
Right.
Okay. But let me throw this at you. Why can't a guy like a Mark Loretta, who has been a bench coach, who's worked in the front office, who had a very distinguished career as a player, why can't a Mark Loretta become, you ready, like a Gabe Kapler? You know, why not? Or listen,
Gabe
and
Kapler
if
in
you,
Philly or Gabe Kapler in San Francisco?
no, Gabe Kapler in San Francisco.
Right.
But let me throw this. But listen, throw a couple other names out there if you like. If you like the history of the Padres, if you like the guys that at one time played for the Padres, Loretta, Venable. Here's another guy. How about a guy like Phil Nevin? The thing about Phil Nevin is this: Phil Nevin's a dick. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I say that lovingly. So Phil, if you're cruising around right now in Poway,
Love you.
you know, and
Don't
I
beat
call
me
you
up.
a dick, I love you, pal. Okay. You know how I feel about you. But the thing is that Phil Nevin's the kind of guy that, like Bochy, would take the analytics, understand them, utilize what he wants, and then use his gut when he needs to.
Doesn't
And
Trevor Hoffman currently work for the team?
Yeah, but
he's
he's
not
not
going to manage.
He's not managing. It's not his style. It's not his personality.
Remember when
You know,
you came up with putting him as the bullpen coach, and who laughed
right?
at you?
Adrian
Like,
Adrian Gonzalez was like, "What are you? Adrian's like, "What are you talking about?" You
Okay, but
can't
like
have Trevor
here's
Hoffman as the bullpen coach.
when I bring up names like the ones you brought up, those would excite
Mhm.
me more than a Buck Showalter, than a
Oh,
Ron
yeah.
Washington, than a Bob Melvin.
I'll even say Bruce
guys that
Bochy,
are
dude. Bruce Bochy. It sounds good and it sounds
On
romantic.
paper.
You know, 3-time World Series champion and former Padre player manager. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'd rather have fresh blood because I think the thing about Bochy is this: what he can demand is big money, and I don't know how long he's really got. I don't know how much energy he really has for it.
They'd come in for 3, 4, 5 years and make them competitive. For me, Scott, like it may not excite you as much, but for me, it would excite me in this reason only that they're doing a 180 of what they've done the last
Right.
7 years.
Fair, I'll buy that.
Like that is the reason why I would be excited. Is that means to me, from the outside looking in, they have ceded control of the actual manager position,
Mhm.
which would excite me.
I would
Mhm.
say what you hire Bochy and Scott, you put him on a 3-year plan. So that way he knows the end, you know the end, but you bring in guys like Mark Loretta. You bring in guys who are respectable guys who've been around the league.
You
and
have a
groom-
succession plan.
Yeah.
Right. And you groom that next guy to be the 10-year guy.
Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
'Cause-
Also, the list of the favorites to be the Padres manager. Another
Mhm.
reason why I don't like them is because I feel that there's desperation to get back in the game. Like not what I mean by the game is not just like Ron Washington's the third base coach. I'm talking about like these guys I feel are desperate to be managers. Bochy's not. If it's not the ideal situation, he won't do it. He doesn't have to do
Yeah.
it. He made
Well,
a ton of
and
money in San Francisco. He's got his rings. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
And there's other clubs that might want him and might be willing to pay him more and might think he might look at them and say, "Hey, it's a better situation for me."
Yeah.
Look, I'm not sure it's a great situation to be honest. Like here's the thing. He was a good player, he was a very good manager. He left the Padre organization. He became a Hall of Famer with San Francisco. Do I want to, and I'm putting this in quotes, tarnish my San Francisco fame and adoration by managing back in the division? He was a Padre, but he's a legendary Giant. Does he want to go back to being a Padre again? And I'm not so sure. So look,
Hey man, Phil Jackson
think,
went to New York.
Yeah.
I think that if you think you have the right situation, I don't really think you're thinking about your legacy. I think you're looking at like, yo, this team is good, and I am the guy to turn
But
it
Phil
around.
Jackson wasn't the coach.
I mean, Theo Epstein went from the Red Sox to the Cubs.
Right, but you're going from one classic organization to another.
Well, that's that's true.
I mean, but what I'm saying is Bochy's also, it's a different time of life for Bruce Bochy.
I
But
think
look,
you're a little
nonetheless-
jaded. I think you're a little jaded from the old Bochy and the way it used to be. I think you're a little bit, which makes sense. I mean, Bochy as this hard ass, as this no fun, as the club sucked. He managed a terrible, like, you know what I mean? Like he didn't have incredible success in San. He had 1 or 2 years where they were pretty good. So I think you're
No,
a little. I think
I'm
it's
gonna keep
different.
saying I'm gonna keep saying odds again. I don't care.
He was more than that, Alex. I mean, in the late '90s when he was managing, they did get to the
Right.
World Series. He did manage teams that were being put together by a shoestring budget and got them to the playoffs. But
so I think it's different now.
It is different. It's vastly different. All right, stick
Definitely
around.
not
Hold on.
shoestring budget.
Right. Hold on one quick second because I really want to talk some football here coming up. Before I do, I want to just say this. Thank you to Gary Cooper and Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty Services. I got to thank Gary. Alex, give us a quick 30-second update on where we are because there was a big hiccup in the attempt to close the deal to buy your condo in North Park, but it looks like we're getting it all worked out. And Gary and his team have been there the whole time.
Signing papers tomorrow morning, 8:30
on a Saturday. Wow.
On a Saturday, notary coming to the house. She came to the house last night. Turns out my fiance has 2 last names on her identification card and not on the documents, so they had to redraw all the documents with her actual like legal name, which was like a complete oversight. So we will be doing that tomorrow.
All right, we're about to have a housewarming party. If you have followed this journey along the way, and you have any real estate needs, you can tell that Gary and his team will do everything they can to get it done for you. Call them 858-376-1299, 858-376-1299. And by the way, Alex, when you get into your new place, I'm going to have you call Corky's Pest Control, 1-800-901-1102. I had dinner last night with Corky. We had such a great time. I hadn't seen him in a little while. So great to visit with him and be with him. But also, what was interesting is this morning I got a text message from Bill Hagan, the owner of 1090, and Bill showed me a picture of a Corky's truck in front of his house, and that's because Bill had some termite issues inside of his house. But it wasn't like a full house deal, and he didn't have to tent and move out. It was a isolated area, and Corky was able to come in and use a different form of treatment to clean up Bill Hagan's house. And Bill actually said to me, he said, I've used the same pest control company for 7 years, and I'm just now switching to Corky's Pest Control. So look, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Termites will come to your house. So make sure you call Corky, because I was talking to Corky about it last night. He was saying there are so many preventative things you can do, and people just don't take care of their homes the way they should. Call them, 1-800-901-1102, or Google it. Just Google Corky's, that one word. That's all you have to do is Google that one word, Corky's, for Corky's Pest Control. Hey, let me transition a little bit here from baseball and Padres managerial talk to week 7 of the NFL and Sunday. Here's what I've been thinking about, guys. Last week, I told you I spent an entire Sunday in a bar from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon watching all these football games. You know, I look at the 10 o'clock window. I don't know that I'm going to be sitting around watching football games at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. I might wait for the late games Sunday afternoon.
You gonna watch Man U in F1?
No, I don't think I'll be watching Man U in F1 the way
All
you
right.
will be.
Okay.
But it's a good suggestion. Thank you. But take a look at the 1 o'clock games or the 10 o'clock games, the early games. Washington football team versus the Packers. Anybody in on that?
No.
I'm not really in on that. Chiefs and Titans is a good game.
That's a very good game.
Very good one.
It's a good game, but I don't know that it's got me going to a bar to go, hey, I came for the Chiefs-Titans game. You know, last week it was Chargers-Ravens and Rams-Giants. Falcons-Dolphins, not a good game.
Nope.
Jets-Patriots.
Oh, excuse me.
Well,
No,
I'm just going
that's-
through the list. You like the Bengals and the Ravens, Alex?
Yes.
That's a good game.
I liked. How good are you, Cincy? Like, how good are you? Like, you played it close on that weird kicking game with the Packers. Like, it was a really weird game. But how good are you? Prove it.
Yeah, I would love for Cincinnati to beat Baltimore. And then this way I could come back on the air on Monday and remind Browner that Joey Burrow is the furthest thing from a bust. Would like
All
that.
right.
He's clearly
Watch-
not a
do you mean?
bust.
Watch him throw 3 straight interceptions against the Ravens. Watch.
Okay.
It's like the worst thing that could ever happen was that Burrow threw 3 interceptions against the Bears. Like it just gave him life for like 8 weeks.
Hey, man. Hey, look, I didn't throw him in there, baby.
I didn't do that,
Bengals-
baby. I didn't do it, baby.
Bengals Ravens is a good game. Chiefs Titans is a good game. Those are in the 10 o'clock window. Eagles Raiders in the 1 o'clock window. Lions Rams in the 1 o'clock. Cardinals Texans garbage. I guess I will watch the Bears and the Buccaneers. So again, I can come in on Monday and brag to Browner
How
how
great Justin
my
Fields
guy
was.
Tom Brady is and how bad his guy Justin Fields is. Yeah,
Bro, I got Justin Fields starting in my fantasy lineup. So a couple rushing touchdowns, JB. Come on.
Listen, I'm looking for a couple rushing, couple throwing. Last year, not
Breakout
last year.
game.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Last year, Mitchell Trubisky threw 5 touchdowns. 5 against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm not that selfish, man. If you can give me 2 rushing touchdowns, I'll be happy.
But again, I'm looking at the early window, and there's 2 good
Bad.
games that I like.
Dude, it's Bye-Mageddon, Scott. You got a
yeah.
lot of good teams out on bye week this week. Like I told Buffalo, Dallas, Vikings, Pittsburgh, Chargers. Got a lot of bye weeks.
All right, stick around, everybody. The highlight of the day is right around the corner, and since Browner is at Torrey Holistics, I think Ruthie's going to stop by. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. We're coming right back.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Our massive signal covers an area where over 24 million people reside. So if you're listening or advertising on another station, we have only one question. Why? The new generation of radio, the all-new and mightier 1090.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
When California weather conditions create a high risk for wildfires, electric companies may shut off power in some neighborhoods as a precaution. These public safety power shutoffs could affect homes and businesses and interrupt power to your home, devices, and even our Cox facilities. During a PSPS, we'll work hard to keep customers connected to their Cox services in conditions that are safe for you, our employees, and our community. For information and updates, follow us on Twitter and visit Cox.com.
It was a night to remember as we honored the best teachers in San Diego. There was dancing. There was music. There were teachers. There was also this bit of genius.
This honor is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Watch Cox presents Salute to Teachers only on YourView.
Kaplan and Crew tonight presents Let's Talk Hookup.
Hi, this is Pete Gray with this week's Fish Report and some pretty slow fishing here in Southern California with some bluefin tuna and some yellowfin tuna down about 150 miles. But the big news this week in fishing is the Bisbee Black and Blue Marlin Tournament down in Cabo San Lucas. 199 boats competing for a whopping $9.8 million. And day one of the tournament, Team Braniff caught a 489-pound blue marlin worth $600,000. Day two, the fishing was very slow. No qualifying fish brought to the scales. And day three is today, and one team could win $9 million if they catch a qualifying fish and they're in across the board. So we'll have all the information on that Bisbee Black and Blue Marlin Tournament this weekend and a lot more on Let's Talk Hookup. So be sure to tune in on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Mightier 1090, and we'll see you next week.
Let's Talk Hookup airs on Mightier 1090 Saturday and Sundays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Catch an all-new local show on the Mightier 1090. Please join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the Charity Stripe, where you can get 3 out-of-the-box sports minds whose game is knowing yours. Only on a new generation of radio, the Mightier 1090 AM, SoCal Sports Talk.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those afflicted by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Learn more at LaMesaRehab.com.
COVID vaccines are safe, convenient, and free, and they are effective at protecting you against the coronavirus. I'm Dr. Akilah Weber, a pediatric gynecologist and state assembly member, and I got the vaccine to protect my family. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and everyone who receives the vaccine helps us get one step closer to returning to normal. Go get your vaccine today. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find a site near you. Do it for yourself, your family, and for our community.
Live soccer is back. Watch Orange County Soccer Club, OC's highest level of professional soccer, live on YourView. Watch Orange County SC take on the Las Vegas Lights FC, Saturday, October 23rd at 7. Watch world-class players and future stars. Transform your summer with the new family game night and outdoor fun all season long. Live soccer is back. Orange County SC versus the Las Vegas Lights FC, Saturday, October 23rd at 7 on YourView.
At La Jolla Cosmetic, we try to help people achieve well-being, and we feel that it's not only important to look good, but also feel good inside. And honestly, what a better opportunity to help my community than being a supporter of an organization such as Las Patronas.
The mission of Las Patronas is to provide financial assistance to local nonprofits that are providing valuable community services in the areas of health, education, social services, and cultural arts. La Jolla Cosmetic has been one of our biggest supporters at Las Patronas, so we couldn't do what we do without their support.
You feel the need and you see the need because we go to visit each grant applicant.
Partnering with groups that are actually dedicated to help your community, it's the best thing that you can do as a responsible business.
Shelter to Soldier is 9 years young with a mission to save lives 2 at a time. We're adopting dogs from local shelters, training them for post 9/11 combat veterans, and we're able to donate these trained dogs to deserving veterans in need.
You know, I was in a very dark place. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I really needed an immediate help. We don't know if tomorrow is going to be there for us.
Shelter to Soldier is a nonprofit, and we're able to do the work that we do because of you, the community. Whether it's an individual donating $5 or whether it's a corporate donor like the Barnes firm that's supporting us and sponsoring multiple dogs that are going to make an impact in the veterans' lives in need.
Him by my side 24/7 has completely turned my life around. It's not just saving both of our lives, it has made an impact on myself, Nigel, my family, my work. So yes, they definitely have saved our lives.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Save the Stork is an organization that equips pregnancy resource centers across the nation so that these pregnancy resource centers can reach more women facing unplanned pregnancies and provide them with holistic care, compassionate choices, and just an abundance of resources to support their decision to choose life. Save the Stork has been around for about 10 years. Most people know us by our Stork buses. A Stork bus is a mobile medical unit that's equipped with the state-of-the-art medical equipment as well as very knowledgeable and experienced medical professionals.
The buses enable them to reach areas where maybe there's not a pregnancy care center nearby. We are here to walk this journey with you so that you're not alone and to help you find your heart in all of this. And that means and that you're going to make a choice that is truly going to be something that years from now you're going to be proud of.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YearView.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.